Hi writers, today is a really fun day in our how-to book adventure because today is the day that we actually practice doing that thing that we're an expert at, that we brainstormed and chose, and thinking about all the different steps to do that thing. So for example, I am writing about how to make a delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So what I'm gonna do is not just think in my brain about how to make one, but to actually literally make one, and as I'm making it, think about breaking it down into steps so that my reader will know how to do it too. I'm still brainstorming, so what I'm gonna do is get a brainstorming sheet and write steps on the top of it. Steps. I'm gonna try to get all my sounds that I hear on my steps brainstorming sheet. Then I'm gonna write, kind of similar to my materials sheet, a 1, 2, 3 with lines next to it. And just like the materials sheet from yesterday, I want you to challenge yourself to think of at least, which means no less than, 3 steps for your book. You might need more than 3 steps. I think I might, but I want you to have at least 3 steps. Then you can get started doing your expert activity. So I realized I need all my materials for me to make my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I took my materials I need sheet from yesterday and made sure I had peanut butter, jam, bread, a knife, and last but not least, a plate. So I think to myself, what is the first step to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And there's a few different ways you can do it, but I'm gonna do the way that I usually do it, which is to put peanut butter on my first piece of bread. So I make, wow, it's a lot of peanut butter. My peanut butter part of the sandwich by spreading it on the bread, making sure it's even. And then I'm gonna write on my steps sheet, put peanut butter on bread, or maybe spread peanut butter on bread to be extra specific, which means good details. So I'm gonna write spread peanut butter on bread for my first step, remembering my finger spaces and my best guess sound spelling, and of course my punctuation. Spread peanut butter on bread. Then I'm gonna think about what my next step is for making a peanut butter sandwich. Well, usually I add the jelly or the jam to the other piece of bread. And I'm a person who does not care if my peanut butter and my jelly get mixed up, so I'm gonna use the same knife. But like I said, there's all different ways of doing this, and maybe you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich differently than I do. That's okay, we are all experts. So then I'm gonna spread my jelly on my other piece of bread. Make it nice and even. And then once I've spread my jelly, I'm gonna write spread jam on bread. Spread jam on bread. Remembering my spaces and my punctuation. So that's my first 2 steps so far. It's time to go on to my 3rd step. And my 3rd step is put the bread together. Put bread together. So I'm gonna take my peanut butter bread and my jelly bread and put it together. After I put it together, you've probably guessed it, I'm gonna go to my steps planning sheet and write, put bread together. Then I'm thinking to myself, so I have 3 steps, which is what I need to have, but is that the last step? What if my reader is reading my steps and says, okay, I spread my peanut butter, I spread my jam, I put the bread together, what do they do after that? I have to think about what they do after that. So I think, aha, my 4th step is put it on a plate. Put it on a plate, just like I did. Sandwich, plate. I'm gonna write, put it on a plate. So you will notice at the end of my activity, I have 4 steps for making a perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Not perfect, but delicious. Perfect is boring, right? So my first step is spread peanut butter on bread. My second step is spread jam on bread. My third step is put bread together, And don't forget my fourth step, which is put it on a plate. So now that I have written all of my steps in my planning sheet, my next step for my how-to book is going to be taking those steps and making each one have its own page in my how-to expert book. That will come later, but right now your job is to actually do the thing you're an expert at and brainstorm the steps to it. So if you're cooking something, now is the time to make that food. If you're teaching a song or a trick, now is the time to sing it and practice it. And while you're doing that, really be mindful about what are the different steps that your readers will need so that they can be experts too after reading your book. All right, good luck, be creative, and have fun, writers.